And it was the strangest thing. I don't know how people believe, but I do believe in the devil. And it's like the devil whispered in my ear, like, you're talking to me right now. And that's how I heard it. You're a burden to your family. It's time for you to go. Now, if you were going to call anybody a burden, it wouldn't have been me because I'm the one taking care of my family.
Right.
But I didn't even think about it. I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. I am a burden. So I took my husband's pills.
Welcome to DFW Grit. I'm Dr. James Taylor and I'm your host, and this is more than just a podcast. We dive into the stories of the movers, the shakers, the small business owners, the entrepreneurs, right here in the DFW Metroplex. This is your home for authentic, real stories that prove what happens when you don't back down. Let's get to work. All right, hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of DFW Grit. As always, I'm your host, Dr. James Taylor. Today, I have with me Miss Michelle Hill, who we were kind of recollecting and I'll say reconnecting. I don't know if there's much of a connection, but we've certainly crossed paths in the past. You and I met at my very first networking meetings when I was getting this stuff started, stuff being the chiropractic thing. And we said it was 13 years ago. So with All Junked Up, real quick, you guys just go clean up junk. Like what do people call All Junked Up for?
They call us to come clean up their mess. The stuff that they no longer need or want. We've been considered lifesavers, and I can't even think of the other words that they've used, but they've all been positive.
There we go.
All good words.
Right.
But we come in and we take what they're struggling to get rid of, and we're able to come take it, get rid of it, and then they don't longer have to deal with it. It could be, a realtor going into their final walkthrough, and they go, "Oh crap, the people left all this stuff." We'll come in 2 a.m. if we have to, clean it all up so they can make their closing on time. So we do a lot of things. We really like to help our customers go above and beyond what is typical.
Yeah.
In our business, because we know that they're needing help. They're stressed out. They're frustrated. They're stuck. Their parents left them all this stuff. They don't know what to do with it. Yeah. So, we help them with all that kind of stuff.
Now, and we ran into each other about 12 or 13 years ago. When did you start it? When did you start All Junked Up?
Actually, I started in 2014.
Okay. So we were starting at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I opened up shop in February of 2014.
Okay, yeah, I started April of 2014.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Uh-huh. And we were sharing before, so we had gotten started in the networking scene, if you will, Northeast Tarrant Chamber. My business did its thing, your business did its thing.
Yeah.
And I've shared with the people, my wife Tamika, she's on the come up, impressively so.
Yes.
And we had, not that we were necessarily ever in touch, but again, we ran in the same circles, you and I. And then, life happens, business happens. And then as Tamika started to come up, you start to pop up more. Mm-hmm. Just on my feed and stuff, if you will. You're at the same place as my wife is. And then recently, or semi-recently, like you are kind of an open book, but you just started to share more and be like, hey, this is Michelle Hill. Not necessarily this is All Junked Up. This is Michelle. This is why I do what I do. So if you want, give me your origin story. How did you get into All Junked Up? How did you get to where you are?
Well, it's kind of a weird story.
So which is why you're here.
Yeah. I used to drive 18-wheelers, and I delivered fuel. And so I actually loved doing what I do.
How tall are you?
I'm 5 foot. Okay. So we're all compensating for something, I'm telling you. I have people go, "Are you driving that?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm trying.
I'm doing something."
Well, actually, when I first started driving, I was struggling because I didn't understand the clutch.
Okay.
And, that's a big thing in a truck. I had a lot of respect for the truck because I didn't know how to handle the clutch. So I ended up going over the road for like months. It didn't work out. But long story short, I've got some interesting stories about how to learn to handle the clutch. It took me a long time to figure that one out. So I don't know how I got into driving tankers, with not understanding the clutch, but I got it.
Fair.
I got the job. But I did that for 10 years. I did 2 years in freight trucks and then 8 years in and out of a bunch of different companies with the fuel hauling.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I actually loved it. It was my favorite thing to do. The problem with hauling fuel is you don't feel like you're helping anybody. You don't get that satisfaction that you really solved a problem for someone. You're just, nobody pays mind to you. You're out here delivering fuel. Yeah, you're doing something for the community.
Yeah.
But you don't have that personal feel good that you really help somebody out who's just struggling and stressed out and frustrated and feels stuck and just all the negative feelings that kind of go with collecting junk. And ironically, I was a hoarder for over 20 years and didn't realize I was a hoarder because I was storing it in storage units. So I was paying for my hoarding. And I had started that actually when I was driving trucks. So I didn't have the time to deal with it. So I ended up with 12 storage units.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I was paying like $2,500 a month for like 10 years.
Wow.
And my husband now finally said in 2018, we're done with this. It wasn't his money. We kept it separate, but he knew I was throwing money away.
Uh-huh.
And I said, okay, like any hoarder, I'm going to do it myself. Took me 3 years, got down to 2 units. Then I secretly got back to 8 units, and then quite a bit in debt. And now I'm almost out of debt and back down to my 2 units and almost out of the second unit, and I'm done with it because I'm tired of it. I've gone from one extreme to the other as far as hoarding.
So were you your own first client in a sense?
I don't know, because I was going through people's trash and, dumpster diving, and I was getting, so I was paying for storage units. I was doing auctions. My actual first real auction, I bid against myself. I didn't even know I bid against myself. And he's like, he talks so fast, I can't understand him. And so that was my first experience with the auction. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I'll do auctions anymore. But I would find people who were looking to get out of their units. And I paid them, $100 or $200 to clear it out.
Yeah. And
just took the stuff and stored it. So it's been an interesting story to go from one extreme to the other and not even realize I was a hoarder in doing it. So I bet there's a lot of people who don't realize they're hoarding and hoard,
How you had to have had clients. So, because if you started all junked up in 2014, and then you finally got down to 2 storage units in 2018, you were doing all junked up business. Yeah. And then you were, I would imagine, clearing out hoarders' houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were doing hoarders' houses.
And,
but I didn't see it as the same because it wasn't in my home. It was in storage units. So to me, I wasn't hoarding.
Yeah, your house was so clean and everything had its place.
Yeah, you walk in my house, you wouldn't know I was a hoarder. I was storing it. Yeah. And so to me, I, was able to separate that and not think of myself as a hoarder.
Because it was literally separate.
Yeah, it took somebody telling me, hey, you got a problem here. Yeah. You need to fix it, and you need to fix it fast because it's affecting my business. Uh-huh. It's really hard to grow a business when you're doing stupid things.
Right.
Yeah. And, I hate to say this about myself, but apparently I'm just a little bit slow in learning, and I take a little bit long time to figure it out. And I finally got to the point where I'm like, this is dumb. And the stress that it caused, and the anxiety and the depression. I mean, I go through what my customers went through, and so I can relate to them on that level. And not only that, I lost my first late husband in 2000. So when somebody is widowed or widower, I can relate with them and understand. It took me 9 years to let go of my late husband. So he was 6'2", 330 pounds. I couldn't even put his underwear on my head. There's nothing I can do with this stuff.
Right.
I can't do anything. But I couldn't let it go. And then I finally started telling myself, if the house caught on fire, I wouldn't know what to say. There's too much stuff. There was too much. And then it got to where, you know what, if I donate it, I don't care if they throw it away. Whatever they do with it, it doesn't matter. To me, his stuff is going to live on there. And somebody's going to buy it, and that shirt's, his memory's going to live on in that shirt. The people don't have to know it. It doesn't matter to me. But that's how I had to tell myself to be able to let go. I had to play little tricks like that to let go of his stuff.
Yeah.
But it took 9 years.
Oh, and it's come up like I told you, like we do a lot of entrepreneurs and stuff.
Yeah.
In here. Just don't worry, you are in good company. Plenty of us learn the hard lesson slowly, and repeat the lesson. Because I mean, I'm sure you're well aware. Like life will keep teaching you the lesson until you pass the test. So you keep failing the test, you'll keep taking that test.
God's like, I got all day. I'm like, I need to pick this up. Yeah. Then I'm like, I don't have all day. So it was frustrating, but God's patient. He's like, go figure it out.
So how did you get that from the truck driving business into the all junked up? Like when did making that trend? Because again, truck driving, you've got your routes, you've got your deliveries, you've got some semblance of security, and you're like, like so many entrepreneurs, security is dumb. Let's make things interesting and rely all on ourselves. Like how did that transition?
Well, the truck and trailer part was was easy for me because I went from an 18-wheeler to an F-250 pulling the trailer, so I already had that down, which was really cool because sometimes that's a hard part of the job. But actually, I wanted to be able to help people on a more personal level and feel like I was doing something for someone as opposed to just delivering fuel. It's a completely different feeling when people will go, man, you really helped us out. You really, saved us from this, or we didn't know what to do with all this. And we found out about you through word of mouth or, something, Google, and you really helped us out. And to see the expression on their face, and the stress just picked up because people are just stuck. They don't know what to do with it. And the city won't take it. There's a lot of things the city won't take, or I don't know how the city works on some of it, but I mean, I've just seen brush sitting out there and it's just rotten. You have your HOA on you about getting it cleaned up, or your neighbors are making comments about it. So there's a lot of stress that comes from not being able to get rid of your stuff. Yeah. And so it was just, I found something that I could do that I could help other people in. And I actually had my dog at the time, who is my mascot for my business, and he would come with me on my junk removal jobs. And his name was Scrappy, so
perfect, as it should be.
Yes.
Well, I think it's too, like I would imagine that if somebody has got, let's just say, such an excessive amount of junk that they need to call for assistance, rarely is that the only problem they're dealing with.
Right.
So if you can actually take that stress away. Right. And take that stress, the time coming with all the stuff, like it does. It's a huge load off. So that's sweet. That's one less thing that I don't have to worry about.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And what might take you months to get rid of because you're putting out a little at a time, and we can come do in a day. And that's a huge difference for some people. I've seen people stockpile it in the backyard for months, and you can tell it's been there a while. The grass is dead.
Yeah.
And so, to be able to help people and that's been bothering them. I learned real young this, I used to hate mowing the yard, and I would think about it and think about it and think about it. And finally, when I mowed the yard, I quit thinking about it. And it's the same concept. People will think about all the stuff they need to get done, and they put it off and put it off and put it off. And then as soon as they finally call us and we're able to haul it off for them, they're like, wow, this, I don't have to think about this anymore. It's a huge thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's something said just for the mental load being gone, let alone the actual load,
the pile
of stuff, right?
Right.
So, again, just back to the to the transition from the truck, from the security, to the entrepreneurial thing. Like it seems to be kind of a common thread when I talk to people. Yeah. Like there are people who are like, why would you do that? Why would you go from security, if you will, to the unknown of entrepreneurship? Like
I don't know, other than my husband. I don't know if I should say it like this, but he told me I was really good at taking risks.
Okay.
Keep it clean. That's not exactly what he said.
Fair.
But I don't know. When I was with my late husband, we had invented a parking brake for shopping carts. And my late husband was disabled. His mom was disabled. And I raised our son. And I did that all in the 90s. So I was in my 20s when I was doing this. So I didn't go to college. I don't have the college education, but I learned about business. And he basically said, "This is your company." But thankfully, someone was smart because he had an IQ of 168. And I told him God was punishing him because my IQ was like nowhere near there. So he taught me a little bit about business. And I think that's where I got my taste for it, and I think I always wanted to do something, but I didn't know what I could do. And so, again, being that I'm not book educated, I'm everything I've ever had as a job has been physical. I worked at UPS, I worked at DHL. Everything was a physical job, working on docks, dealing with freight. So I knew I was going to have to do something like that.
Right.
And junk removal. Not only do I love junk, it's better now. It's not the hoarding love, but I love junk. I love getting dirty, and I love helping my customers. I never could stay clean anyways, but this was just like a perfect fit for me.
Fair.
to be able to do, and I love doing what I do. I love being able to help my customers, and again, to see when I get to send them the after pictures, and they're like, "Man, you're awesome. You just helped us a whole lot." Mm-hmm. So that's the reward I get. I love that. That's my favorite part.
That's awesome. So with again, just kind of going to it's what what do I know how to do? I know how to work. Is really kind of what it came down. Like, what can I do really well or better than most? Work
hard.
And shoot, that's something that a lot of people don't have. I mean, now was there? Again, kind of correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like, and it's just going from what I see. Would you say business is better now in the last 4 or 5 years than it was? It kind of seems like your trajectory has been kind of something like
it's been amazing. Yes, it's been really it's been growing. I send out thank you cards to my customers, and I think I had a lady in 2017 or 2015. We ended up taking care of her again, and she's like, "I still have your thank you letter in my purse," and I'm like,
"In her purse, all right."
Yeah. So you never know what those mean to someone. Mm-hmm. Some people are just really lonely, and we got to take care of. We were on a job site for one customer, and across the street was an elderly lady, and she had 4 bundles of brush, that her lawnmower guy took care of. The city wouldn't come pick it up. And she's like, hollering at us, and I go over there and I go, can we help you with something? She's like, "Can you take these bundles? What would you charge me?" I go, "Ma'am, we're not going to charge you. We're just going to come take them." It's 4 little bundles.
Yeah.
I'm not going to charge you. And she's like, "You can come visit me anytime." I haven't had a chance to do that, but she's on my calendar to go visit. But it just lightened her up. But she didn't know how to deal with that. She didn't know how to get rid of it. She didn't even know who to call. She was willing to pay.
Yeah.
And so it's that kind of situation that we get to help out. We don't get to do it always like that, but that worked out perfectly for us.
Now, when you say, is it just you, or how many people you got working with you?
So I'm the main party. That I have a video where I will go pick up refrigerators by myself and have to video it because I know people will be like, "I know you can't do that." But I do have a guy that works with me. His name's TJ. He's been with me for about 4 or 5 years, and he's my right hand man.
Okay.
I mean, he knows how I like everything done. He takes care of everything. He's just an amazing person. I've been really blessed to have him.
So, was there anyone before him, or so? Because again, now you've been in business 12 or 13 years with all junked up. So, previous 8, just you?
The first 2 years, I actually did everything by myself.
Okay.
Because I didn't even know where to find help. And then once I found help, I would go through the temp agencies, and that's how I was having people help me with the bigger jobs and things like that. And then TJ and I met, I think we met twice, actually. We met, I don't remember when. I think he worked with me for like a year or so, and then something happened, and he was through the temp agency. I didn't hear from him. And then he reached back out to me through Instagram, and we've been working together for the last 4 or 5 years. So, and he's wonderful because I have such a strange schedule. like tomorrow morning, I'm picking you up at 3:30 in the morning. We're going to McKinney.
Damn.
Yeah. So we start, sometimes we start early. I started this morning. I got to my first job site at 5:30 this morning. So, sometimes we tell people we're 24 hours, but you have to make those appointments.
Yeah.
We don't just.
Don't call me at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah. We're not going to show up at 3:30 when you call, but if you make the appointment ahead of time, then that's how we work. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So that is what do you, it seems like it'd be a noisy job. What are you doing at 3:30 in the morning?
We're quiet.
Okay.
We are quiet. We try not to even disturb the dogs. We don't want anybody knowing we're there. We obviously, when we load the trailer, we load it quiet. We don't throw it in there like we normally. We place it in there
Like you do at 1 p.m.
Yeah. Like 1 p.m. we're chunking it in there. Yeah. Sometimes it depends what it is. Yeah.
That's fair. Now, I've seen if this would kind of come organically, and it hasn't. So I'm just going to kind of force the question.
Okay.
I told you before, one of the reasons that I reached out to you to have you on here was because it feels like you've been owning your story a lot more lately. And just to share again with you, and in case anyone hasn't heard it, like that's when Tamika's life really took off, when she owned her story. And for anyone who's just tuning in, my wife, we had met shortly after she witnessed her dad stab her mom and then light her house on fire. And it wasn't, we moved down here, and we were here for about 8 to 10 years before one day she made the decision, like, there's no point in hiding from this kind of thing.
Right.
It's part of my story. It's part of my life. And now she makes jokes about houses burning down. Yeah. And everyone's kind of like clutching their pearls, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she said that. She's like, well, it's my life. So if you want, can you share just as much as you feel comfortable about your life prior to the last 14 years, I guess, because it's wild.
Yeah. So I have a lot of sexual abuse from the age of 5 to 17, from strangers, family, friends, neighbors. It was never family, so my family didn't know about it. I was told not to say anything, so I never did. And eventually that led into drug abuse. And I'm trying to keep this as short, the short version. And actually, when I met my first late husband, I was shooting up so much speed that my druggie friends wouldn't even shoot up with me. I was addicted to the rush of shooting up. And I met my late husband in a bar, and I had other offers to stay with other people. I was 17, 18 at the time. And I had realized that the guy that offered me a place to live before, because they knew I was having problems with my mom, he was going to prostitute me. So I don't know where logic and reasoning came in. It had to be God. I mean, that's all I can say. And so I told him no. A week later, my late husband asked me if I wanted to get off drugs. I said no. And then a week later, I said, okay, I'm ready. There were no strings attached. In fact, again, he was 6'2", 330 pounds. They had him on 24 medications a day. So I took one of his medications. It knocked me out for 3 days. So I went through the withdrawals that way. And then, that was when I was 18. I'm 50 something. I won't be exact. 50-ish. I haven't touched drugs since then. So he actually saved my life. And it's funny because we didn't really like each other. He was bald. He was fat. Not the kind of guy I dated. I was not the kind of girl he dated. He had long legs and blonde hair, and he's like, I guess I fell short of that. Yeah. I'm 5 foot. In every sense of the word. Brown hair, yes. And I said, well, my ideal man has hair, so there you go. 6 months later, we were married, and I didn't expect. He had medical problems when I met him. I didn't expect him to get worse. I never met anybody who had medical problems or anything like that. So I took care of him and his mom, who was disabled, and raised our son. And I did that all in my 20s. So I didn't go to college. I don't think I would have gone to college anyway, and to be fair. So, but I'm proud of that, because not only did I stay in that marriage in my 20s, but we were on welfare. Now, I vowed never to be on welfare again when he died. I've never been on it again. I hated it to begin with. I can't stand it. It's great for its purpose, but it's not meant for you to stay on it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a line to draw. I mean, you can forgive somebody, and if they continue to keep doing the same thing, then there's a point you have to go, okay, this is wrong.
Yeah.
This doesn't give you the ticket to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But what forgiveness is absolute freedom for me. I don't feel bad for the things that happen to me. So I probably talk about it a little bit more a matter of fact, because what's done is done. I don't regret what happened. It changed me. It made me who I am today. And for that, I appreciate that, because honestly, I was really a stuck up little girl, and I think I would not have been a nice person had some of these things not happened.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
I was a stuck up little girl.
I was very, very spoiled growing up. Very spoiled. And it took being poor to see what life really is. It's not a fun side of life, but it does change you, and it lets you see, I was close to being homeless when my late husband died, because we were living with his mom, and my in-laws came in and kicked my son and I out of the house.
Oh, damn.
And I was estranged from my mom at the time. She came in and got a duplex for me to go move into, because I went from my family to my husband.
Okay.
So I never lived on my own. I didn't even know what was required to live on my own. In fact, when I moved into the duplex, I got a call from Hearst TV and Appliance. And they said, we have a washer and dryer for you. And I'm like, does that come with the duplex? Because I can't afford it.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, somebody came in and paid for it. They knew you lost your husband, but we can't tell you who that is. So to this day, I don't know. I think it was my mom, but I don't know. Somebody bought me, it was $800 at the time in 2000, and bought me a brand new washer and dryer. So, you can let life beat you down, or you can take it and own it and go, you know what? This doesn't control me anymore.
Yeah.
I'm better than this.
Have you had people, I guess, have you faced, let's say, have you faced backlash in a sense for owning it, for like being as okay with it as you are? Or
if I have, I haven't even noticed.
Hell yeah.
So no. I'm not.
That was a perfect answer.
Yeah, I'm not an attentive person. So I don't think so. No. And if they did, I didn't care. But I don't think anybody's ever said, that's too much, or
Nobody's ever said you're too much?
They must have. But I just got through sharing in church yesterday my suicidal story. And I don't know these people. Like, I've been there like 5 months, not enough you would think that somebody would share something so personal. Yeah. But I attempted suicide, I think my son was 4 or 5.
Damn.
And it was the strangest thing. I don't know how people believe, but I do believe in the devil. And it's like the devil whispered in my ear, like, you're talking to me right now. That's how I heard it. You're a burden to your family. It's time for you to go. Now, if you were going to call anybody a burden, it wouldn't have been me, because I'm the one taking care of my family.
Right.
But I didn't even think about it. I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. I am a burden. So I took my husband's pills. I took 2 at a time, waited 30 minutes, 2 at a time, waited 30 minutes until I took 10. So a couple hours or whatever, however long it took for me to do that. Then I waited another hour before I even said anything to my late husband, Joe. And then he was pissed. So I didn't get any sympathy. Oh, we need to go get you help. This is an issue. I mean, it was complete opposite. I've never seen anybody so mad in my entire life. And they had to call the paramedics, and they had to take me to the hospital and pump my stomach. And then they give you that liquid charcoal, which is disgusting. And you drink like 7 or 8 cups of this because it absorbs the poison. Yeah. Not one time. Well, the doctor came in and I said, I'm going to tell you right now, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done, and I will never do it again. I never had to go see a doctor. I never had to do any follow-up. And so I don't know what made that. I don't know. It was so long ago, I don't remember. But there's a few times in between that I've wanted to attempt suicide. And I'm going to tell you, the hardest fight in your life is to fight for yourself. I mean, you see those cartoon characters where they have their hand around their throat and their other hand is trying to push them. That's how it felt. It's like one hand was trying to kill me and the other hand is trying not to. And you've
got control of both of them.
Yeah.
Somehow.
And you're sitting here going, the hardest fight I've ever fought in my life. I'll dig a sewer ditch. It is nothing in comparison to fighting for yourself. It is the hardest fight because you have to think you're worth it. And you're having to fight all these things that keep you from thinking that. And then I finally got to the point where I use my sense of humor to deal with it now that I go, okay, if I went and OD'd in the middle of nowhere, if it's not my time to die, God's going to bring somebody on a cowboy on a horse and come save me. But now I'm going to have to deal with the doctors. Now I'm going to have to deal with the hospitals. I don't have time for that. I'm trying to run a business. And so that's what keeps me from doing it now. I use my sense of humor to, I haven't had that fight in a long time. Yeah.
But the threat of filling out paperwork keeps you up. This paperwork's going to go with this if I fail.
Yes. I want to deal with the doctors. I love doctors. I love the police. I love the fire department. They don't have to know who I am.
Yep.
I appreciate them over there. Yeah. And I even volunteer with when Watauga had a fire department, we used to, or the police department, we used to volunteer there too. Yeah. But, I appreciate them over there. Yep. Yeah. I don't want to be known. Yeah.
Can't argue with you there. And as many episodes as I've done of it, this is always, this is the cool part. Like it's like, I want you to come on here and I want you to talk about your business and the stuff that you're doing, the stuff that you find joy in, and and how you help people out. But like that's the forward facing part, right? Yeah. That's what people see. That's for all intents and purposes. That's what we want them to see, right? But everybody, I'll say your story is different than every other one. Yeah. But everybody's got a story and these struggles and things that go like that. And Michelle, man, I really appreciate you sharing yours. And it was because you've already shared it on Facebook. That's like, okay, like, one, she's cool with this, but two, like I would believe that there's probably been, I would say probably at least a small handful of people who may not have reached out to you, but have read your stuff and said, shit, that's same. Yeah. Like, kind of
that's thing. All I hope for is that it helps someone go through what they're going through or their struggle. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm a little further down the line than they are. And I can help them with that. Or they see somebody who's already been through something and fought that fight, and they go, okay, look, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. Because especially when you're suicidal, you don't see that light. No, I bet not. You don't see it. And it's not that, how do I word it? It's not that you don't think you're not worth it. You're tired. It's a different kind of tired. You're just tired. You're exhausted. And it's not worth fighting anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's how it kind of feels. You're just done, and you're okay letting go. And so it's a different kind of fight. And so I understand people who are struggling with that,
Yeah. That's awesome. Not that's awesome.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Your ability to share. And again, just like I'm sure somebody has read some of the posts that you've made, and it's touched them, whether they've said it to you or not. And I have full faith in the world that, we don't get millions of views, but someone's going to watch this and it'll help them too. So again, I appreciate you coming into this.
Yeah. It was fun. I appreciate it.
It was a good time. So once again, everybody, all junked up. Yeah. Where do they find you?
Facebook.
If this doesn't scare them off.
I know, right? We're on Facebook. Oh, where are we? Google.
Yeah. Google all jumped up.
Yeah, all jumped up.
It'll pop up there. Awesome.
I'm not great on the marketing part of my
business. That's quite all right. You're the boots on the ground. But I end every episode the same way, and this one is certainly no different. I tell these people, like, you will learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, again, for the 13th time now, I don't know why I'm going to watch to find that number. I appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
And you guys, as always, like, share, follow, check out Michelle Hill and All Junked Up, and we will see you on the next episode of DFW Grit. We'll see you later, everyone.